Hi, I'm Madison.
And I'm Caitlin.
Welcome to the What We Carry Together podcast.
Because no one should have to carry it alone.
Hey, welcome back to the What We Carry Together podcast. Today is a very special episode because we have Madison's husband, Mils, on with us today. And we are going to ask him some questions, and I will be reading off some of them, but I just don't want to miss anything. So let's get into it. So first off, how long have you guys been married?
Well, I just want to say I'm honored to be here and get the invite on the pod. And I'm very proud of y'all for putting all this together and figuring it all out. It's been a lot to have to navigate. So, very proud of y'all.
Thanks. Well, thanks for supporting us. Yeah.
We've been married since January 22nd, 2022. So
4 years.
coming up on 5 years.
Yeah.
Too long away.
And then do you guys want to talk about how you met?
Yes. Met in college at a fraternity function, kind of like a blind date scenario, right?
You set us up.
And actually you were there as well.
Yes.
And, got connected through some friends and went on a function, had a great time, and then didn't really see each other for a while.
Yeah.
And then reconnected.
We always remained friendly, but we reconnected when I was in law school, actually living in DC, and Mils was here. So we started long distance.
Yep. For 2 years, I guess. And,
Yeah, because you asked her on a date over your Christmas break, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We
Just never stopped talking.
basically just talked every day and, just grew into
Yeah.
flourishing relationship.
Yeah.
So
Perfect. All right. So, what was life like before Maddie got sick?
I mean, we were just, young, living life,
On the go.
no worries in the world. Yeah,
Mhm.
constantly on the go, I will say. It seemed like we had a wedding like every other weekend
You
at
guys
that
did.
time.
We traveled a lot.
We were burning up the highway between Atlanta and Charlotte. We were constantly on the go.
But like the summers when I was in law school, we would have so
Yeah.
much fun. Like
Yeah.
we would
Concerts, I mean,
go out to dinner all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're, again, constantly on the go. I mean, always
Mhm.
had plans, had packed social calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So
And I'm sure the perspective of what was stressful then probably seems kind of funny now, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And when did you realize something wasn't right?
I guess it would have been over the holidays.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a stressful time for Matt because like she was trying to pass the bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that was just a whole stressful thing in itself. And then, it was the holidays and, we do 2 Christmases with my side of the family and then one with y'all's, and we were running around and Madison was mentioning her neck hurting and, we didn't really think too much of it. But then it progressively got worse over the next few days until I think it was, Christmas day after Christmas.
That was the day.
Christmas
that
Day.
happened.
Yeah, she went to the ER
Mhm.
and,
Or no, I had the mini stroke Christmas Day, and then a few days later went to the emergency room.
yes.
Yeah.
And then we, eventually got the CTA and then, so we were,
So that happened the December, and then you guys got married
A year
a year later. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How did you handle the uncertainty of, because it's like, we knew something, like after the first dissection one, she had the second one. And it was like, we knew something else must be going on, but we didn't know what it was. And that was really scary for everyone. How did you handle the uncertainty of all that?
I mean, just the whole dissection itself was like, just brutal. Like waves of just screaming pain, and I couldn't do anything basically, which was an awful feeling. It was so stressful. I feel like I'm a pretty stress-free, laid-back
You
guy
are, yeah.
most of the time.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've never felt stress like I did when we were in the hospital that first go round, like trying to figure out what even happened. And yeah, that was absolutely brutal.
Do you want to talk
and-
about what that looked like for you when you were
I
going through all
mean,
that?
just like sleeping on the little, like in a chair, and then eventually got a love seat in the hospital. And it was during COVID, and they were trying to like not let me stay. And so I just stayed in the room the whole time because if I left the room, I was afraid I would get kicked out because we were technically supposed to be there for visiting hours and leave after, I think 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. But we were just staying. And I was so worried that I was going to get kicked out.
Sometimes
And
they
then like,
kick you out.
luckily your mom stayed a few days as well. And like, it was just, I mean, gosh, there was just waves of brutal pain, you know what I mean? And we were just trying to keep ice on Madison's head, basically, to numb it. We kept a cooler of ice, and it was crazy because the nurses were so busy, and they obviously COVID was a wild time, and they had a lot on them. If I wasn't there or your mom wasn't there, I don't know how we would have managed that. It would have been a brutal experience for her because like they were just so overwhelmed.
Medication on the hour, like the minute it was okay to have it. I needed to have it because of the situation that I was in, because they were trying to manage my pain to keep me from having a stroke. And I was on so much medicine.
Because they want to manage your blood pressure, right?
Yeah. She gets so worked up during these pain episodes that it was very concerning, you know what I mean? And that was like my first time ever playing full-time nurse, and I gained so much respect for like healthcare workers because it's like constantly on your feet, constantly doing something. When she was not in pain, I was prepping for when an episode would occur,
Right.
non-stop. You know what I mean?
He bought a book, and it was a medical book on vertebral artery dissections, and read the whole thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I forgot about that. That is very sweet. Would you say that there was a hardest moment for you personally?
I would say the very beginning when we didn't know what was going on, that was just very scary. You know, 'cause we didn't know what was causing this. It took years to figure it out. That was just scary and stressful, and I couldn't do anything but just be a loving, supportive husband.
You
know?
do a great job.
Yeah.
But it is tough when you're in that situation. You can't do anything to fix it or to help.
Was there ever a time where you felt helpless? Probably most of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, during those waves of pain, especially when we were in the hospital very early on, but then when we came home and she would have really bad pain, and we've given her all the medicine we can give her. What else can we do? There's nothing we can do except for go to the ER and like them give her medicine via IV. That was the worst part, is just the pain. And I'm just sitting there, she's screaming, crying, you know, and I'm like, what can I do? Here's like ice, heating pad, pain medication. And after that, it's like, I guess we got to go to the ER, you know, that happened, you know, so many times.
Yeah.
I would say like, I also had a lot of helplessness recently, up until we learned about you offering to carry and us doing the IVF. I don't know, maybe up until 3 months ago or so.
Not even.
I would just feel helpless when she would get really down and kind of like deep, dark thoughts of, are we ever going to have a kid? And she would just get so upset and depressed, really. You know, try to say a dumb joke or offer to do something or let's go somewhere. And there's just nothing I could do to improve her spirits, you know, and that was like really hard as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And because you want to be able to just fix it for her.
Yeah,
and then it was like something where you could,
I think you guys probably relate a lot with that helpless feeling. I bet a lot of the times that he felt helpless, you felt helpless. And also, you're asking questions that I haven't heard the answers to before. And I just want to stop and thank you for all of those times that you pushed through while feeling helpless and still cared to try and loved me through all of that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is marriage, right? You know, every single person is going to have health issues at some point. It's unfortunate that Madison's happened at age what?
Yeah, it started when I was 26.
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s. Like, it's really tough and unfortunate it happened this soon in her life. But like, I'm going to have health issues. Like, as we age, we're all going to have health issues. And like,
marriage, you know, you got to lift the other up when you're
In
down.
sickness
you know?
and in health,
So,
for better or
Yeah.
for worse. Yeah. But you've done an incredible job. I mean, because I joke saying like, you know, I would always want to be there for her, but of course I can't be. And so knowing that you are, I mean, it has been just so relieving because he is just incredible.
Well, thank you for saying
Yes.
that.
So I think this would be kind of an interesting. How did you feel like your marriage changed during this season?
All the seasons.
Yeah, lots of
Do
seasons.
everything.
I would say that it's definitely,
matured us a lot.
That's a good answer.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of
Forced us to be like an old married couple at
Mhm.
times. You know what I mean? We just know to prioritize each other, and we know how important faith is, and being active in the church and having community and friends and family. It's brought us a lot closer together and taught us how to give each other grace at times and just love each other through the bad.
Yeah. And I think that when we do disagree, it's because that's just inevitable and we have a lot of stress on us. So it can cause a lot of tension. I've had a lot of hormonal changes, but I think that it makes our disagreements go away much faster because we know we're on the same team and we've been through so much. So when we do disagree, we are able to bring it back, I would say, to baseline or come to an agreement or see the other's perspective a lot faster than before because, well, one, life is very short, we realize, and two, it's really hard to stay upset with someone that's been so supportive. And it's not because I feel like I owe him that, it's because I know that shows me how much he loves me.
Absolutely.
And so it's like, I know there's no ill intent in any of our disagreements, and it's really hard to, you know, be upset with someone when it's literally just a disagreement because I've seen him really fight for me and be there for me. And when you've seen someone do that, I just think it makes it more motivating to cease.
And I feel like you guys have both done a really good job through this of giving yourself and each other grace because, like, I mean, this has been one of the most stressful things that you can go through as a couple. And when you're stressed, you're going to snap, you're going to get angry, and then you guys are the ones that are together almost all the time. So it's going to end up being at each other sometimes. And that you guys, like you're saying, you have been able to kind of circle back around and
I don't think that would just, I don't think that came like we had to work for that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because it, you know, Mils, for example, when I get a migraine now, or if I'm sad now and I lay down, I think he gets scared. You know, does this mean it's going to become a longer thing? And it's not that he faults me for it, but that he's worried about
what's PTSD?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've had to have a lot of communication about, no, I promise I'm just having a migraine. But if I am having an issue that would last longer, I can obviously tell him that. But we've had to really, communication has been so huge, still is, and it's something that we have to work on every day.
And I think it is great on your part too, because, like, of course, she's the one that is having these migraines and things. It's like taking her away from being able to be in social situations. And I know you are a very extroverted social person. So you've been really patient and understanding, you know, like when there's been those times that like you both can't go or she can't go. And, yeah.
I feel like that's just part of it, you know? It's like you just got to do what you got to do at times. So,
I mean, like, it is what you should do, definitely, but it's not what everyone would do.
And it doesn't make it fun. I mean, it doesn't make it fun when Mils misses all these things or goes alone. But he does it and doesn't make me feel bad about it. And then also navigating so that our marriage, we don't get in the habit of Mils being a constant caretaker and me being a constant patient. That's something else that we have to work on, because since we've been married, I've had dissections. And so that's all we've known. And so just making sure that we don't stay in that place of patient caretaker is something too.
Well, and it just like it dealing with the day-to-day anxiety because of having FMD, it's like, because the dissections you've had have been spontaneous. So it's like kind of that unknown of, okay, is there going to be another? And then if you've gotten into fender benders and stuff where that's created.
Where my fender was bender.
you weren't at fault.
I was not at fault.
And but like that definitely created some anxiety there, because it's like, is that going to calls another dissection.
Yeah, and it makes it, I'm anxious to drive. I'm anxious to do a lot of things. When it rains, I'm anxious to drive to work because I have about an hour commute to work and home and in traffic. So, that stuff makes me nervous because one time I did get in an accident and I immediately had to take an aspirin because my vision was blurry.
And I'm sure a lot of it just is the stress alone that is creating this response in your body, right?
And I'm trying to navigate because the signs, I just had an ocular migraine last week, and the symptoms of an ocular migraine are the exact same symptoms as a dissection, except for, a stroke, but my arm didn't go numb. But the last time I had a dissection, my arm didn't go numb. I threw up, had flashy vision, and really bad migraine. The first one was much more cut and dry, where my arm went numb, my vision, I had all three signs. But this time when I had my ocular migraine, I was very thrown off and very terrified because I didn't know whether I should go to the emergency room. And I was frustrated that Mom was saying, I think you should go because I hate the emergency room. But looking back, had it been any of you guys, I would have said, you need to go to the emergency room. But that's so disruptive and obnoxious to my life because I have a job. I don't want to have to stop and go to the emergency room. It costs money.
I think part of it too was that you had just stopped your Lovenox and your Letrozole the day before.
Yeah.
So I think that was definitely made Mom feel a lot more stressed out. Okay, so this is interesting too. So how did you take care of yourself, or how do you take care of yourself while taking care of her as well?
I think for me, the big thing is exercise. It just helps me relieve stress, and also obviously helps me just stay in decent shape, So that's the biggest thing for me is if I'm exercising regularly, it helps me just stay sane.
Exercise releases endorphins.
Yeah. And when I do have a chance to do something fun, or as Madisyn will say, practice mindfulness, on the golf course or at the driving range, or just do something fun.
I think being outside.
Yeah, getting outdoors is
and just separating yourself from
yes.
Yeah, not you, but just this is anxiety. Yeah.
Well, no, as a caretaker, you have to take care of yourself first.
Yeah.
So I think that's no offense taken.
Yeah. So was there anything that someone did for you guys that you'll never forget during all this that really stands out?
Yeah. I feel like mentioning one is
doing a disservice.
To so many people, but
we have meal trains.
Just
flowers, balloons, people sending gifts all the time, people doing Uber Eats gift cards, DoorDash gift cards.
Yeah, obviously, we lived with your parents for the whole. The first dissection, we lived at their house, and then the second one, they lived at our house, and basically helped us go about our normal daily living stuff. They sacrificed a lot.
And it's not because they were hovering, it's because Mils literally could not do this alone because one person could not do it.
Somebody had to stay with you.
And you still had to work.
And even laundry and dishes, just the normal life stuff.
In keeping up with her medications, we had to make almost an Excel spreadsheet to be able to keep up with all of those medications. It was nuts.
Yeah. And so Mom and Dad sacrificed so much and in so many different ways, and they still do. And then I would say that you and Brian obviously offering to be our surrogate has been the biggest one, probably.
Yeah, specifically during the dissections, like what we just said, but and there's so much love from friends and family sending stuff and doing stuff. And
gosh, it was so kind to see how the love that everyone showed us. And then fast forward to, the family planning struggles, you offering to be our surrogate, something we'll obviously never forget.
Yeah.
That's going to be it's just so hard to even put into words because obviously we can never repay you with such a, you know what I mean? And I know that's not what it's about, but it's just something we're so beyond grateful for. It's all
right, I need to come, provide some acts of service, do some dishes and make some dinner for Caitlin and Brian.
No. I'm just so excited to do
Definitely
it.
during the pregnancy, we'll be helping out tenfold. So
yeah,
I'm excited for this journey with you guys.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
And it just honestly, I think I've said this before, but for the first baby, easing into having to not being able to carry the baby myself, all of these things that I struggle with that I'm going to miss out on. It takes away so much of the sting because you're the closest person to me that could carry our baby. And I get to feel it vicariously through you more so than anyone else. And I don't feel uncomfortable asking you anything. So it just makes me feel like I'm going to get to experience it more than I ever would. And so I think it took away a lot of that sadness.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. How would you say that your relationship with Jesus has changed through all of this? And kind of on the same note of that, were there times that you wrestled with God about kind of why this was all going on?
Gosh, that's hard to answer. It's definitely brought us closer to God because we were just I feel like we were at rock bottom during all this. You know what I mean? We're just like broken. And they say God finds you in the lowest places. You know what I mean? And we've always been Christians, but going through this, it's like, man, we had to turn to God to get through this stuff and it was just too much for us to carry. You know what I mean? And we needed Him, and we recognized that, and
just help bring us closer to Him.
Yeah, I think because you're in a place of despair where you don't have anywhere to turn, but look up. And I think that's where we were at.
Did you ever feel like you got mad at God?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely times where I was like, why is this happening to Madisyn? Like, why her? You know what I mean? Why us? That's the tough part, is like, we don't get those answers, but we know that God has a plan for us. The thing what I do want to add is that, like, through all of the really difficult situations, praying and having people pray for us, I've seen it work, because like Madisyn was healed, you know, her body healed itself. And like a lot of these dissections don't heal fully on their own ever. Some of it, like a aneurysm forms at the spot, or like there's complications, or like the artery doesn't fully open back up. It's partially occluded.
Stents.
And yeah. And so for her to be fully healed is a miracle. There were times, like when we were in the hospital, there was a time specifically when my cousin's a preacher. He came and prayed for us to help get some answers. And literally within 15 minutes of him leaving, a neurosurgeon came into the room who wasn't supposed to be at the hospital that day, but had an emergency surgery, was there. They paged him. He stopped by our room and basically told Madisyn, like, look, this is what I'm confident is going on throughout fibromuscular dysplasia.
Wow.
I mean, it technically wasn't a formal diagnosis, but that was the first time we had heard,
Something to chase.
a really smart, intelligent person telling us, hey, look, this is probably what this is. We kind of got an answer, like within 15 minutes of my cousin praying for us. And that was like, the most
God sign
Yes.
that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
That's
You know?
amazing.
That was my diagnosis, and got us to Mayo Clinic, which got us through this whole process. And so Mils always brings that up, and it's just such a beautiful example. And
That really is. That really is beautiful.
we actually got baptized. I had been baptized when I was little, but we got baptized again. Mills' first time he was baptized as like a baby as well. But we got baptized at our church because I've always believed in God, but I lost all control of everything in my life. When something happens to your health, you realize how little control you have in this life, and you physically, emotionally, everything have to give it to God. I mean, you're going to give it to something, and gave it to God. And that wasn't easy. And that just felt like such a special moment. I remember sobbing when I was baptized because it really was a release.
That's good. That's good. Handing it over.
Yeah. And I think it's even challenging after you get baptized, because it was after we got baptized that we were told that I couldn't carry our child. So it's not, you get baptized and everything goes away. It's just you get baptized and you remember that Jesus died for you, accepted Him in your heart, and that you're not meant to go through it alone.
Yep. So we're kind of wrapping the FMD portion up. And so now we can kind of switch and go to the whole IVF and surrogacy aspect of y'all's relationship. So what emotions would you say that you felt once you realized that Maddie couldn't carry y'all's baby, and then that you needed to kind of pursue that IVF and surrogacy journey?
Yeah, it definitely took me a while to accept and realize, for it to like really sink in, that Madisyn wasn't going to be able to carry our baby. Several doctor's appointments. I mean, this is the span of like, I don't know, a year, maybe something like that. It took a long time.
It was 2 years.
And just hearing doctor after doctor basically saying like, look, this is putting your body at serious risk. It's not worth it, because at the end of the day, like, you have to be alive to be a mom. So eventually over time and after doctor's appointment and them telling us that, like, it eventually just started to sink in, and like we, each doctor's appointment after we'd hear that, we would grieve that. And then it got to the point where like I'm super positive and super optimistic, and I was just trying to stay positive for her and just say, look, we're going to be able to do this. We're going to figure it out. And at some point it's just like, that's not healthy. Like, I need to accept the fact that like, this is the situation, and like, we're going to have to build a family through a non-traditional way, and, that was tough. I mean, it was difficult, but I'm also super excited about it. This is our path that God has laid out for us. We don't know why, right? But, he's showing us in the past few months that us having a baby is possible, and it's looking better and better as time goes on,
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I will say that once we accepted that she can't carry a baby, finding out that we were able to do IVF, I felt like honored and felt blessed and just super grateful that is an option for us, felt like another God nod,
Yeah. I think what helped us see surrogacy in a positive light is that they told us we couldn't do it, and then they told us they could, we could, then we couldn't, and then we could. So it was really hard. We were sad about it at first, and then they told us couldn't do it, and that was the out of this whole experience, when they told me I couldn't do that, was the most rock bottom I've ever felt, because it was like not even getting to try. And so that was really rough. And then when Mayo Clinic said we could do it, it made us become grateful for something that before I was,
unsure.
I was,
you weren't thrilled.
Yeah, I was mad I had to do it. Now I'm grateful I get to do it.
Right. And then Mils, would you say, like, at any point, once you knew that surrogacy was on the table, and I feel like I won't take offense to this, were you ever like, that would be weird?
No. I mean, no, I
would understand if you could say yes.
I did not think of you as an option, because like I was, they want a third kid, it's not, and that might be happening, now, right? Or like soon.
We honestly figured you would have another kid before we would have our first.
I honestly didn't even think of you as an option, and I just thought that we would just need to find someone, and obviously it was a pleasant surprise to know that you were up for it. At first, like, learning about surrogacy and stuff, I was like, it's like kind of crazy that that's an option and that's a possibility, to like grow a human made by you and another human,
It's not something you experience. I've never met someone, I've met surrogates now, but to date, I've never met someone who was currently carrying someone else's baby. Like, that's just not something.
I don't think it's weird. I've accepted the fact, like, this is the way that we're going to have a kid, and I'm grateful that we're able to do this. And it's going to be interesting explaining this to our future kid.
We have this, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we have this, and obviously he or she could watch this, and that part's going to be interesting, But at the end of the day, I've told Madisyn this, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't care how we get a baby.
Yeah,
let me get a baby.
Yes. That's sweet. All right, so what advice would you give husbands whose wives are facing serious illness?
Some
I know that's
good questions.
First of all, like, hang in there, like, keep your head down and keep grinding while you're in the thick of it. You got to take care of yourself. You got to seek out releasing the stress.
Like outlet.
Yeah. Outlet. Yeah. Take your friend up on a coffee or whatever, here and there, and try to get out when you can, and, do the best that you can. It is good to connect with other people that are going through something similar. And I think one thing that's important is just to appreciate the good days.
Yeah.
That was one thing Uncle Chip told me, is just live in the present as much as you can and appreciate the good days that you do get. It's okay to be weak at times. You know, you're carrying a lot when you're going through something really tough like this, or dealing with someone that's got a serious illness. And, you know, it's okay to cry if you need to cry.
I think there's two sides of the coin. And this is why communication is so important. You don't want your significant other to stop living their life. You need to know that you're their first priority, and that when you need them, they're going to be there. And once you know that, at least for me, I was more comfortable being like, okay, Mils, I want you to go do things for yourself, because I know when I call him, he'll drop everything and come running. And then he's also he would never abandon me or anything. So I think it's two sides of the coin. I think it's important that you see that they care, and that they're like, you don't have to be strong and put on this front 24/7. That being said, we have so much we're caring. We also don't want to carry the guilt of you missing out on living your life. And so that's a very delicate balance, which is why communication is so important. But I can see why, as the caretaker, you would feel guilty while your spouse is in bed or not feeling well to go do fun things. But you can also take heart in the fact that we feel bad when we're at home and you're at home when you could be doing fun things. And so
You can't be a caretaker 24/7. Like, that's not healthy. Yeah.
I think the other thing, like the most important thing that I would say, is that like you've got to turn to God together as a couple and pray together and ask him, like actively pray and ask him for help and ask him for what it is you're looking for, whether it's healing or whatever positive sign, and then ask for help from friends and family, and don't be afraid to ask for help. People are more than willing to help out.
Yeah. And I think something that I've really appreciated that is hard to hear in the moment, but a very important prayer to pray that now I've started doing because of you, is you always pray for, regardless of whatever the answer is, for us to be at peace with it, or help us to be at peace with it. And that's really hard when like you are dead set on wanting something to go one way, especially when it comes to health or fertility, because, you know, it's not like getting a promotion. It's not like this is a life-changing situation, and something that not everyone has to struggle with. So it comes naturally to so many people. And so it's really hard to pray to be at peace with a mountain in front of you. And Mils, from a long time ago, has always prayed, regardless of whatever the doctors say, help us be at peace with it. And that's something I've struggled with the most. And I really feel like his prayers of doing that, and then me starting to pray for that, have helped me be at peace with it, because I'm not at peace with everything. I'll never be totally okay with it, but I've been able to move within the bounds of our circumstances in a new way. And I can only attribute that to God.
That's a very, very good thing to pray for during all of this, because it's such a time of unknown and uncertainty every step of the way. Because I did not know anything about IVF. I did not realize what a long journey it is. And I still don't even have my head wrapped around it, because there's still a long way to go. But like knowing that's like each step, it's like you want to celebrate, but you're so cautiously optimistic, because it's just like then you're waiting for the next step and the next answer to come back.
Yeah, it's like right now, like we're like, obviously we're celebrating that we have 8 blastocysts, right? We're so grateful. At the same time, it's like we still got to make sure they have 21 chromosomes. And get them tested genetically,
and then that they can transfer, and
hope and
you'll
pray,
be approved.
Hope and pray that like they're gonna pass testing and be healthy embryos.
And it's like, because you do want to.
It's like in the back of my mind, you know? It's like, and normally I'm just like, oh, let's celebrate. Let's, you know, I'm super positive. I'm like trying to, but for this, it's
cautious optimistic. But I think that our situation is not just, it's not wrapped up in, I feel like there are people that have significant chronic illness or significant infertility or need a surrogate. Mils and I have this sandwich where we're dipping into all 3 areas. So it's like, I have a chronic illness, technically fertile, medically infertile, that I can't carry a baby, have to do the egg retrieval, and then have to transfer to have a surrogate. So it's just such a unique set of circumstances, and so much has gone into every layer of it that we want to celebrate the good days, but we also are just trying to stay realistic. And it's hard to know what that realistic is because there's not a lot of places to look for this situation.
It's very, very unique. Yep. If you could go back and tell yourself one thing on the day this all started, what would you say?
Be patient and extremely understanding and supportive and loving. I guess that's like,
But you've done
6 things.
You've done so great at that, I feel like.
I guess just be patient and keep faith.
I don't know how well I would take this at the time because you get really bad news and you don't want toxic positivity. So I would say give yourself grace. And also, I think with our situation, it's been so natural to focus on the prayers we're praying right now that I am needing to remind myself that I'm living an answered prayer because getting to be married to Mils with the support he's given and the grace he's given and the caretaking, it's important. I think gratitude is really important, especially when you struggle with it because you're angry and upset about your circumstances. But I mean, I'm married to someone that people tell me all the time, like, he loves you so much. You're so lucky to be married to him. And doesn't mean that we have a perfect marriage by any means, but it just means that we're in this together and he loves me with his whole heart and he loves God. And he takes such good care of me. And that is a massive answered prayer because the idea of going through FMD and those dissections alone and not having been married to Mils at that time, I don't know. I don't know that I could have made it. And God knew that. And so he gave me Mils and I couldn't have made it through those dissections without him.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so good. That's so good. That he is an answered prayer for sure. Absolutely.
And y'all are talking me up. I like this.
It's the truth, though.
And I'm not trying to
truth.
preach. I'm just saying we have a normal marriage and that, we've been through a lot together. And so I think that I'm just trying to emphasize the importance of unity and sticking together and praying through the hard times.
Okay. What is something about Maddie that made you fall in love with her all over again during this journey?
I like this question.
I mean, there's multiple things. Like, it's hard to just say one, but
I would say Madisyn's such a fighter. Like, she has been through so much adversity in her life. Like, it is crazy. Yeah, it's a struggle at time when you're going through the tough news and the tough situations, but you always find a way to keep going and to, get back up and dust yourself off and
keep taking steps forward, and I just really admire that about you.
Thank you.
So
that's sweet. That's good. That's good. She is a fighter. That's for sure. That's for sure. Was there a moment that you guys knew, okay, we're going to get through this? And that can be like FMD or the infertility aspect.
I mean, I feel getting through this egg retrieval
was
like a huge part, but I don't feel like through it, you know what I mean? I feel the most hopeful that I've ever been about the situation like right now, you know what I mean?
I've never felt like we had a choice. We just got to keep going. But I do feel like this is the most I've been able to breathe in 2 years.
Yeah, and the most excited we've been. And, I mean, we're just so happy and thankful for you, Caitlin, seriously. I mean, we are pumped.
I'm so excited for you guys. I'm so excited.
Well, I just don't think I would be able to enjoy this egg retrieval process and finding out these numbers if we didn't have a plan. And so having that plan has allowed me to be mindful in this moment and be excited about the blessings of getting these numbers. Because otherwise I would be like, okay, great. What are we supposed to do with them? And I could definitely see myself spiraling during this time. So instead of it being a time of me counting my blessings, I could see me being
not in a good place.
In a terrible place.
Yeah. Onward and upward. Okay. How has this experience changed what you value most in life?
It has made me appreciate health.
What's the saying? You got, 100 problems until you lose your health and then you have one problem, It's really made me appreciate just health and waking up and having another day on earth. You know what I mean? I know that sounds kind of
No, that's
minuscule or whatever.
great.
But
No.
having that gratitude of, all right, this is another day I've been afforded. Like, let's make the most of it. And just beyond grateful for health, and like where Madisyn is now and how far she's come. I mean, health is so important.
Because
you just take it for granted.
Right. Like before that, were you as into cooking healthy and everything as you are now? Or do you feel like that's...
No.
Okay.
I got kind of obsessive over
I don't blame you.
No, but it's been so sweet.
Like trying to exercise and eat healthy.
The one thing you can control is to...
Yeah, I mean, it is hard. It's really hard, Well,
and you pack Maddie's lunch for work sometimes in the mornings when it's like a healthy lunch and stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure she's got her water bottle.
Yeah.
It's sweet.
Drink lots of water.
Yeah. And then what is something you two can laugh about now that absolutely was not funny at the time?
Oh gosh, there's got to be so many of these.
Maybe like you and mom and dad living together because we were so stressed and it was so serious in the time. But now we like...
Yeah, I mean, yes, like I would say living so close to my...
Living
with my mother and father-in-law.
I couldn't climb...
Shout out Daryl and Tammy.
We
love you.
I couldn't climb up the
but
stairs.
Also,
so mom and dad, because we lived in Atlanta, my doctors were in Charlotte, I couldn't go up the stairs. Mom and dad gave us their bed.
Because it was on the first floor.
Yeah, we were living in their room in their house, which is just hilarious. At some point, I walked into y'all's living room and saw my underwear was folded. I was like, oh my God.
And so like we did like find laughter in it at the time, but we were so stressed out that like now we appreciate those funny moments way more. And I think that those moments were
bonding moments for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that like I'm super close with your parents through all this, you know what I mean?
Y'all were roommates for, like a very long time.
After getting married, too.
Yeah. If you could sit down with another couple who is about to walk through illness, infertility, IVF, or surrogacy, what would you want them to know?
That is a hard question to answer. I think the biggest thing is probably, I know this sounds cliche, but like keeping in mind that God has a plan and we don't know why these, extreme challenges are put into our life. But if you trust in Him and you continue to pray, He will get you through the situation. To just stay steadfast in your faith and keep praying
and ask for prayer. I mean, Mils and I
pray specifically for what you're looking for. Be very specific in prayer.
When we were in church, and they would say, "If you need to come up to the front for prayer," I'd never done that in my life, and Mils and I started going up to the front for prayer, which is like very intimidating, or it was very intimidating. But it just got to the point where we needed help. And when we say keep your faith, that doesn't mean, like I was saying in the last episode, keep a perfect place of faith. We're like, I'm okay because God's got this. God does have this, but meet Him where you're at. And keeping the faith just means keeping open communication and talking to Him. Prayer. And then if you have questions, you can always reach out to us, because we've had people that were supportive to us that have been, like Uncle Chip and Aunt Leslie going through her cancer was just such a pillar for me, because it was someone that she was going through something very tough and she was choosing to turn to God and all of it. And so I was like, if she's going through this and turning to God, it was just such an inspiration for me. And it felt very real to talk to someone that was going through the trenches with that approach. And why we want to do this is to be supportive to other people. So you can always DM us, text us, whatever, and we're more than happy to support you in however we can, because God works through community, and we're so grateful for the community we've had, and we want to pay it forward and be a community for people going through this, because it's not easy.
And so just wrapping up this segment, I think you kind of just touched on that, but how we always end is, what are you grateful for?
I am so grateful for Mils as my caretaker through all of this, my best friend, my rock, prayer warrior, and the most patient person for dealing with my hormonal swings, my just despair, everything.
It's honey.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for you too. I would say
what I'm most grateful for right now today is probably just the fact that we had a successful procedure at Mayo Clinic in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And, everything's looking positive.
Yep.
And I can't help but like also think about Caitlin and her offer to be our surrogate,
Yep.
and like how grateful we are for that. Like it's just, at times, it still feels kind of like a dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it's just hard to put into words. It's hard to like describe. It brings so much comfort to us knowing that you're willing to do this. And you are like the best choice we could ever have to be a surrogate. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like
I thought we were going to have a stranger carrying our baby, and
that's just that, right? And I felt that was going to be the case. And knowing that it's you, obviously you take care of yourself. You're a healthy person. I can't ask for someone better to carry our baby. You know what I mean? Yeah, we get to go to appointments and like, we're 10 minutes away or however far we live apart.
Yeah. And I think it will really help ease us into, if the next baby is carried by a stranger, it'll ease us into it because we feel so comfortable asking you the things we want to know as if we were the ones experiencing it. And also just because we're also just able to like make sure that you're okay and that, are we doing too much or too little? I think that it's just nice to have that communication. It will help us for moving forward the rest of our journey. What are you thankful for?
So right now, pertinent to this episode, I am so thankful for Mils. Just you, honestly, you are probably the most glass half full person that I know. And, I think that's great for Maddie and this journey that you guys are on together, being able to kind of offer that perspective through it and that you just take such good care of her. And like I said, normally I would be just constantly worried about her. And not to say that, like to a certain degree, there is always a little bit of that underlying worry just with her having the chronic illness, but knowing that you're there has helped relieve that so much. And I'm just so thankful that God has put you in her life and our lives. And just love you very much.
Thank you, Caitlin. Love you too. I appreciate you saying that. That is very kind.
We love you. And I said throughout the whole...
And Brian.
I said throughout this whole thing, I was like, I'm always going to be thankful for Caitlin offering this.
Yes,
and so, I could say it every episode. So yeah, I think that this has just been a beautiful conversation. I'm with two of the most important people to me in my entire life and two people that have gotten me through just things I never thought I'd have to go through. You guys are both just such blessings, and I am thankful for both of you, and I'm excited about building a baby together. And I think we have great things ahead, and there'll still be more valleys, but after we've overcome what we've overcome, I think that together and with Brian, we can overcome anything. And God.
Yep, that's right.
So we are so excited to have you guys tune in for this episode. Let us know if there's any more questions you want us to ask Mils, because I know where he lives, so I can always ask him and we can bring him back on. But yeah, just keep us posted if there's any questions that you have or any other topics that you want us to cover. But we are so excited to have had this episode, and we will see you next week.